Blog Talk Radio.
It seems like I got nothing to do. Hit up SimFBallCritic Radio. I'm listening to one of the top podcasts, and they bringing you the real. And when they talk sports, it feels like you want to feel. From real talk to real sports, from Madden to 2K. Just listen for one day, they'll grab you and you'll say it's on the net, man. Turn off your stereo, not music. I mess with SimFBallCritic Radio.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of SimFBallCritic Radio. And thank Jive Turkey for that wonderful intro, man. And we're hyped up right now because we almost talked into the intro because it's stuff that we were discussing even before the show. So we're definitely ready to get this started. And let me go ahead and say in the beginning, man, if you hear any background noise here in the beginning, I apologize for that. My wife is upstairs on the phone with one of her girlfriends, and y'all know how that goes. You know, their voices seem to travel a little more than ours, you know. I'm going to say it the nice way. So you might hear her coming across my mic. I don't know if you can hear it or not. But anyway, man, Thursday night, man, welcome back. We're going to definitely go around and check on the guys and see how they're doing. And then, of course, we'll go around, come back around and give you the topics for the night. But like I said, man, we're happy to go ahead and get started and get off to another show. So, Smitty, man, what's been going on, man? How was your week?
I had a pretty good week, you know what I'm saying? Had a sucky Saturday night, I'll put it like that, you know what I'm saying, to say the least. You know, that was a big letdown there, but I enjoyed the draft, made some pickups based off of need versus want, which I'm glad to see. Lions haven't done that in a mighty long time, so I'm very proud of that. Other than that, though, man, I mean, I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited to get into these topics, and, you know, the countdown is closer to E3, and the closer it gets, going to see some information start to unveil, hopefully, you know, in regards to Madden and maybe Montana at some point. We'll see something. So hopefully see something that actually moves instead of a screenshot. But we'll see. So.
Yeah, man, we'll definitely see, and we're going to definitely get into that Saturday night topic. I know where you're going with that one. And as far as E3, before I throw it to Missoula, let me say this real quick. We're not going to be at E3 this year, guys. I'm still, like, on the fence with it, but I don't think I'm going to make it. One reason why is, you know, my guys are not going, so, you know, I'm not going to force myself to go if I'm not going to have AZ or Smitty beside me. So, it is what it is to that regard, but it keeps being asked to me, like, are you going to go? So it's kind of like, I just can't. I'm going to keep it real with you. I ain't trying to spend all of that money as far as accommodations and all of that if I'm not spending it, you know, chilling with my boys. I know that sounds a little selfish, but it's kind of like to do all of that just to be there, nah, I don't think I'm going to make it. So y'all can pretty much go ahead and pencil that one in that we're not going to be there, so we'll be waiting to hear news. Just like you guys. But AZ, man, how's everything going, man? How was your week?
Man, and let me apologize for background noise as well, as I got two co-hosts ride with me at the current moment because the wife had to go handle some business. So let me apologize for that if you hear him screaming in the background. Man, last week I was supposed to call in from Titans Draft Central. I was going to the draft party. My son got sick, so we ended up having to just take care of him. But he's better now. Excited, man. The Titans did exactly what I wanted them to do since they didn't take many rumored trades. They stayed at 2, and then moved back in the second round. And Phil and Smitty can tell you this, that I was looking for them to pick up DGB, and they did exactly that. Now, you can see, you know, the day before I was saying, man, what if we could get DGB right here at 33? And we actually traded with the Giants who picked up Landon Collins, and we moved back and picked up some more picks and got DGB. So, you know, I'm excited about pretty much all of our draft plans on offense as we have, I think, 7 offensive draft picks. As my son is, excuse me, 7 offensive draft picks and 2 defensive. So I'm excited to see where we're going with this, man. I'm ready to talk Madden cover vote, Deflategate, and Montana, E3. Excited, man. It's starting to pick back up. So.
Yeah, man, it's about to be that time, man. We're in the month of May, so you guys know what that means. You know, for everybody who lives on planet Earth, you know, June is right after May, so the news should start kicking up, man. And if you remember, when that little bit of information came out on GameStop in regards to Madden, I believe it might have been on Operation Sports. One of the sites said that they're expecting information from Madden in May. So, you know, we're getting ready for that. Of course, you know, to say we're getting ready is sort of an oxymoron because, guys, like we always tell you, we already know. You know, we're just getting ready to be able to talk to you guys and give you as much information that we can when we can. So, but definitely, man, let's go ahead and jump into the topics. You know, definitely we're going to talk about the draft and, you know, and I'll say, you know, my thoughts on that on, you know, when we get to that topic or what have you. We definitely want to talk about the draft and the recaps and how our teams did and, you know, what was the surprise of the draft, what was the letdown and things like that. We want to talk about Deflategate as well and kind of talk about how do we feel in general about it, you know, as far as do we really feel like it gives an advantage? Would you consider it cheating? Should Tom Brady and or the Patriots be disciplined for it? And how do you think things will play out? What do you think will happen? What do you think the disciplinary action will be, if there will be any at all? And we're going to talk about the mega fight, man. Mayweather versus Pacquiao. And this should be interesting because, you know, not just with us, but I can't wait to hear everyone else's comments. We're going to basically talk about how we felt about the fight, who you think may have won the fight, because, you know, there are a few people out there that actually thought Pacquiao won the fight, and you know I'm just curious to hear your position on it. I will say this: Skip Bayless, you know he was pro Pacquiao, and he made good points in terms of being the aggressor. He felt like at times that Pacquiao was the aggressor, and he was saying in all of his years of covering sports and covered a few fights with Ali back in the day, he was always taught to score it based on aggression. Me personally, I don't think that's always what helps you win, but, you know, I could see his argument. So that's why I said I would love to hear everyone else's thoughts if you thought Pacquiao won. And then, you know, definitely want to talk about what were you expecting from the fight. And that's really the position that I've taken this whole time is, you know, I think more people are expecting a fight versus a boxing match. And that's the last question of the topic. We want to know from you guys, you know, are you a boxing fan? Or are you a fight fan? And we'll definitely explain the difference. And then the last but not least, man, Madden Ultimate Team. Now, this is a topic that we've covered numerous times. You know, Azure Effect has done a wonderful job on all of these shows pretty much when he talks about why MUT is what it is and the business side of things and money. So we just want to talk about MUT in general, how you feel about the mode. Why do you think MUT gets so much attention and other modes do not? And I definitely want to shed light on a conversation that was brought to me on Twitter. Me and Smitty got caught up in it, and, you know, we're going to talk about what guys were saying about MUT and give our rebuttal to it. But anyway, man, that's how we'll roll. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Smitty has a prior engagement, so he may not be on with us all night. So let's go ahead and get it rolling. I'll pass it to Smitty first to start off. Oh, you'll be here. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll be here. So.
We're glad to have you then. So let's go ahead and get it started, man. I guess I'll kick this one off since you guys kind of gave a little bit of information on the draft. You know, as far as the Steelers, hey, man, I really can't be upset at what I saw. You know, you guys know my dream scenario was I really wanted to get Landon Collins. I mean, if you followed me on Twitter that night, you saw I kept pleading and pleading and pleading. The reason why, man, is I felt like, you know, we needed secondary help, which they did address, so I'm happy with that. But I was thinking that why not grab a safety and some corners? And why not get a safety that could probably play right now? You know, in my opinion, that's a safe position, in the NFL, because you could give him a little more leeway to be a rookie, if that makes sense. Instead of throwing him out there on an island. Cornerbacks a lot of times as rookies to start, they go through some trials and tribulations. I mean, look at your man Gilbert out there at Cleveland. He started early in the season. He ended up not on the field at all later on in the season, or if anything, he was like the third or fourth corner. Buster Screen basically took that position. And that, not to say he can't play, but he's a rookie. Don't too many rookies come in as corners and beast out. It happens, but you guys understand what I'm saying. It's more of a learning curve. Whereas at safety, if you're at free safety, of course you can see more of the field. And then at strong safety, you can have them play more aggressive. They could be sort of like Palomalu or, like your fourth linebacker or fifth linebacker if you're running a 3-4. So I thought it would have been cool to grab Landon Collins, then come back in the second round and get a decent corner. But how could you be mad with Bud Dupree? I don't really have much to say. I can't be pissed off about that. I mean, for those of you that don't know this kid, that kid is a beast. Big, agile. I mean, he's ferocious. He played in the SEC, which I might add, the first 3 picks were from the SEC. Love that. Because that's the NFL training camp, in my opinion. But, man, how could I be mad at that? Then we turn around, and I got to give shout-outs to my man Azur. We get Sinclair's Golson, which is funny. Me and him both talked about this dude before the draft. And AZ was like, yo, that dude is a dog on the field. And remember in the video, I told you guys that a lot of times the Steelers draft from whoever visits before the draft. He was one of those guys. They grabbed him, second round, 10 interceptions last year. He's a little bit small, like about a 5'9" or so like that. But I think it won't be too much of a problem because I could see us using him inside, put him in the nickel. And, depending on who he's playing against, he can play outside. Obviously, if he's playing against Calvin Johnson, you might have to consider some things. Even our general manager, Kevin Colbert, was saying, we understand that there will be some challenges in the NFL with a lot of these big receivers. But when you slide him inside, against some of the regular-sized men, I guess you would say, like a Wes Welker or what's the man we used to have, Emmanuel Sanders, guys like that, T.Y. Hilton, what's the dude from, I can't remember the guy's name from Arizona, something Brown, John Brown, I think his name is, guys like that. That's where I think he's going to be able to get off against those guys. So then we get more defensive players. I think we ended up with 6 defensive players and 2 offensive players, and that leads me to pick 3. Sammy Coates. What? We get another big target for Ben, something that we've been screaming about for years, with a little speed on him. Wow. All I can say, Steelers fans, I like Marcus Wheaton, but Marcus Wheaton going to have to bring it, man. Because Martavis Bryant, in my opinion, already took his spot as far as he was supposed to be the number 2 guy. Martavis has taken that in, last year, 6 games when he really started playing him. Now, imagine this. I could see us going with AB, Martavis, and then here comes Sammy behind that. Me just being a wishful thinking guy, I could see this formation in certain scenarios. This is what I would do. Antonio Brown is a matchup nightmare to anybody. I would put Martavis and Sammy Coates on the outside and throw Antonio Brown in the slot. Oh, my God. That wouldn't even be fair. But that's just me talking reckless, but I'm just saying that was a great pick because we don't really have no real receivers outside of those 2 guys. We lost some guys. Great picks across the board. So then let me go ahead and wrap this up so I can throw it to Smitty. Then we turn around and get Duran Grant from Ohio State. This is another guy, had 5 interceptions. He's a physical guy, so that's kind of like your Ike Taylor replacement. He's real good with press. And then last but not least, all the way in the 7th round, we get the kid, Gerard Holloman from Louisville. Now, I don't know how this happened because I didn't even really realize that. He had 14 interceptions last year. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, I heard of him, but I didn't really watch a lot of Louisville football, so I didn't really know what he was doing. But I don't even care. Like, if you ain't all that, that deserves a look. And to get him in the 7th round, very proud of what we did in the draft, man. I think it's inevitable. It's the changing of the guard right now. You know, Dick LeBeau goes over to, you know, a team that plays just like us pretty much over in Tennessee. So you're losing that aspect. Troy Polamalu, Ike Taylor, they're gone. You know, even backup players that helped us out last year, like Bryce McCain, he's gone. Jason Worlds, he's gone. Brent Kiesel, he's gone. You know, it's like, so at some point you have to go young, and it was great to see what they did this year. And there's a couple other guys I'm leaving out, but, you know, I don't want to take too much time on that. But I love what we did this year, man. I can't be mad at all that we didn't get Landon Collins. I think, you know, they drafted very well because I'm really expecting Bud Dupree to do some big things. He actually has a chance to start because we don't really have a left outside linebacker, you know, and Jarvis Jones will be on the right. So there you go, man. And yeah, that's it. I'm pretty happy with that draft. Smitty, man, let us know, man, how you feel as a whole about Detroit.
Well, excuse me. I like the pick. Actually, I like every single pick that we had. Basically, we drafted, you know, like I was saying, we drafted based off of need instead of want. I definitely like the pickups, you know, Lincoln Tomlinson, you know what I'm saying? That was a good pick. Even though we traded down to make that move, excuse me, I definitely do appreciate that pickup for sure. I like Amir Abdullah. You know, like the fumbleitis problem, you know what I'm saying? That's a problem. Like, you know, that's an issue right there. But I feel that potentially is something that could definitely be worked on. You know, like something he'll definitely need to work on. And like he's going to be used more of a situational, you know, a scat back, second down, you know, like I could definitely see him on sweep screens, basically taking the role that Reggie Bush had, except that he won't necessarily be the primary guy because last year we were mainly using between him and Joyce. They were the main two, Bush and Bell. And then you had Riddick that was through in there. You know, he played a little bit. Now Bell is going to get a lot more of that load between him and Bell, you know, with Bell being more of the primary guy. But now with Abdullah in the mix, you know, like you probably will see a balance between him as well as I would think between him and Riddick more than it being more of a between him and Bell. Let's see. I know we had picked up Quentin Jammer's brother. I can't think of his name right now. Brother from Texas we picked up in the 6th round. I want to say his name is like Keontae, his first name at least. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But nice versatility. You know, like this is a guy that already is going to have comfort level coming in, you know, because he has a brother that was in the NFL for 12 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had a full-blown NFL career, so he's going to, you know, having that stability already, like the football background, the family background in terms of having to go through the NFL experience already with one guy. Now you have him coming in. That's definitely going to help. Also, may have his name incorrect, but his name, I think it was Gabe Adams, the D tackle. I think we traded up to get him. I think that was a solid pickup. I mean, we did bypass some D tackles that we possibly should have got beforehand, but nevertheless, like I really can't say. I don't know. I guess they really had it. They really had a strong investment in him to pick him up. Like listening to the interviews from Mayhew and from Caldwell, they have good thoughts on this guy. You know, so I don't know what he's going to bring to the mix, but at least from the D lineman plans, I mean, it's going to be a lot of rotating going on. So there isn't really going to be at least as far as we know on paper right now, there isn't going to be a true set-in-stone rotation with our D linemen. You know, especially considering we lost George Johnson, we lost Sue, we lost Fairley. Okay, so and the two key pieces, you know, like we lost two key pieces, and I mean Johnson was a nice support. So we lost all of that. So it's like we're building back up again from scratch here. But I do like the pieces we brought to the table. We have guys that may be used. Like right now, both of the guys we drafted, the secondary pieces, are going to be at corner. They may get shifted over to the safety position. Don't know for sure exactly. At least the player we picked out of Stanford, they're talking about him possibly playing safety because he only had, over his whole career, he only had 2 picks. So, you know, like while he is a solid guy and he's got nice size, he's a good athlete, but I think they're only going to utilize him sparingly instead of depending upon how he performs, they may only use him sparingly instead of just at the corner spot instead of, you know, just throwing him out there to the fire, so to speak, and letting him get burned over and over. So they said both of these corners are going to be used on the outside to start out with when it comes to covering or when it comes to them being in game. So, you know, we'll see how things pan out. But right now our team is looking a lot more like a wild card, if anything. So, like, really don't know what to expect with this group of guys here that we picked up, and then especially with our team in general. So we'll see. And I'll throw it to Azura.
Yeah, and coming back to it, man, of course, like I said, I appreciated the Mariota pick because I think his ceiling is Russell Wilson, you know, or a little higher since he's 6'4", runs a 4.5. He's a little bit faster than Russell, and his basement being like maybe Alex Smith. But I don't know, man. We never know until these guys actually hit the field, because all it is up until that point is just projection. You know what I mean? Because you can't really, honestly, grade a draft until maybe 3 to 5 years after these guys have been in the NFL and had a chance to have some success or opportunity to succeed in general. So, but just judging off the picks, I do like the Mariota pick. Like I said, you throw 105 touchdowns to only 14 interceptions. You know what to do with the ball. And there's a stigma out there that he is scheme only, but everything that I've read on him has been positive as far as, you know, the Titans gave him a playbook, a few plays out of the playbook to diagnose and call, and he actually did that. He called Titans plays at his pro day. So that's encouraging to hear, as well as, they gave him an iPad to get acclimated as he goes back, because they report on Monday, May 11th. So I like the Mariota pick, and then we move back in the second round and pick up what could be another Calvin Johnson. Who knows? I mean, this guy, Dorial Greenback, we all know, suspended off of the Missouri team, or kicked off the Missouri team, sat out a year at Oklahoma. So he's been out of football and had a chance to stir up some hunger within himself. And I don't think he's going to have any off-the-field issues, because he's got a little one on the way. And we all know, for those who probably, do or don't have children, or seen somebody who has a child, it changes. It matures you very quickly. So I think that that's going to be good for him as well. But 6'5", almost 6'6", 230, that kind of size and speed doesn't come along very often. And we actually have Megatron's old wide receiver coach and Sean Jefferson on the Titans coaching staff. So he's going to know how to work with him. Now, don't get it twisted. Megatron is Megatron. You're not really going to duplicate him. He's one of a kind talent, but to have that size and be effective and getting behind defenses, on which he did in the SEC. He got behind defenses in the SEC at 6'5" is pretty impressive. So, he's going to compete for time with Justin Hunter, and the wide receivers that we have are pretty accomplished. We got Kendall Wright, Justin Hunter, Harry Douglas, Hakeem Nicks, Dorial Green Beckham, and I really like our 7th-round pick. He was projected to go in the 3rd round, but they said that his attitude rubbed some people the wrong way, but his name is Trey McBride. And if you look up anything on him on film, he was competing at a lower level, but he played in the Senior Bowl, and every time he played against D1 competition, he rose to the occasion. So, and he is a crafty route runner in that he loves the art of route running. Like he's posted videos of him doing the ladder and running routes, and I'm telling you, he's a 7th-round pick, but that's a name that you're going to need to watch for. He's 6 foot, 210 pounds, and they compared him to like Pierre Garçon. He's like a running back with the ball. So we had 2 defensive picks. D'Angelo Blackson, who's a D tackle, who ran a 4.940, which is pretty impressive for somebody who's 300 pounds, 6'4". So he might compete for some time at the D tackle spot. He's out of Auburn. I'm trying to think. Hold on, let me see. Then we did draft a offensive tackle, Jeremiah Patisi. I think I'm saying that right. He was 6'5", 335. And if you draft a quarterback, you got to protect him and give him tools to succeed. So, he can be somebody who matches up with Lewan. We got Taylor Lewan last year, who's 6'7", 325. And then we picked up Justin Fowler, a fullback out of Alabama, and all he does is open holes. And some people were like upset with that draft pick, or why would you, draft a fullback? It's kind of like drafting a punter or a kicker. But if you go and look at tape, this guy moves people out the way. So if you're going to add some read option elements with Mariota, we drafted a running back from Minnesota, David Cobb, who averaged 5.4 yards a carry behind a terrible offensive line. So, getting some production and being in the backfield with Bishop Sankey and Justin Fowler, Titans might be all right this year. I'm not calling anything like we're going to the playoffs, but we're not going to win 1 or 2 games like Mel Kiper or Todd McShay is saying. They have us picking number 1 in 2016, so I don't think that happens. So we're going to see what happens. It's going to be interesting to, because all that matters is when they touch the field. So if anything else, the Titans have made themselves relevant with this draft. So we'll see how it goes in preseason and OTAs. I will be out there in OTAs. I might periscope some footage of that, of me being out there with my son. But it's interesting, and I can't wait for the NFL season, man. Like I said, NFL is year-round to me. So the closer it gets, the more happy I am. So I'm going to be all over stuff until it actually hits. So May 11th is when the rookies report, and I'll probably have something to say about them and how they look then. So.
Yeah, man, and I definitely can't wait for coming weekend. I believe that's when the Steelers is hosting their rookie minicamp. And yeah, man, just to see how everybody's looking, and like I said, I cannot be mad at the draft. I'm definitely cool with the picks. The other 2 guys I forgot to mention was Latarius Walton, real big guy out of Central Michigan, on a D tackle level or DN or whatever. And what I like to do, I don't know if everybody else's team does it, but the Steelers, of course, they always, after they make a draft pick, the positional coach always does like a small press conference to tell you why they picked a certain guy and what they're looking to do with him. And it looks like a guy like him and that kid from Miami, Anthony Chickalo, I think his name is, that kind of big linebacker / DN. these are guys that have the body type, so it'll be interesting to see, where they use them, if they use them, if they make the team or what have you. But overall, I can't be mad about the draft picks. I think the only surprises to me were I did think the trade was going to happen. I didn't think Tennessee would go with Mariota and keep him. But, hey, it might definitely pan out. I don't see a problem with picking him. I just thought that they were going to use him for trade bait. I didn't see Todd Gurley going to the Rams. I didn't call that one. The only other two, I guess, surprises was I thought Shane Ray and Randy Gregory would slip a little further. And Shane Ray was actually able to still get grabbed. I believe that was first round by the Broncos. So
they traded up to get him.
Yeah, they traded up. And you got to look at it from a football standpoint. Of course, I made my jokes. I was like, well, marijuana is legal in Denver, in Colorado. So, but from a football standpoint, look at what they have. You could possibly have him on the field with Miller and Ware. Come on. That could be kind of crazy. So, out looking past his little incident, from a football standpoint, to see them jump up to get him, that's cool, man, because he seems to be a good guy. I've seen a few interviews with him, so, I'm happy for him that he can. It was a dumb decision. Don't be riding around dirty like that before the draft, but it's good to see that he won't miss out too much. Whereas Randy Gregory, he definitely lost some money, because he didn't go into the second round, but another good opportunity for him. He's probably going to play because, the Cowboys are looking for the playmaker.
And that old tackle, that old lineman, he's going to the Cowboys too.
Oh, yeah. I just saw that today. Yep. So, Jerry Jones, man. Jerry Jones don't care. He'll take a chance, man. But, keeping it NFL, man, I'm going to ask you first, Smitty. How you feel about that Deflategate, man? They're talking about they have general knowledge that Tom Brady at least was aware of it generally. How do you feel about Deflategate itself? Do you think it does give an advantage? And do you feel like he will be disciplined, or should he be disciplined?
Well, if everything, I didn't get a chance to look at all the information in depth, but if it does, if the information does hold true and Brady actually does have legitimate knowledge of what was going on, then, most definitely he should be punished for it, or at least the team, because the whole team is involved with it, regardless. So, and of course, if you're playing with a deflated ball in any aspect, of course that's going to give you a clear advantage. That's definitely giving an advantage. So, and see that, that kind of stuff right there, the team should be punished. No doubt. Now, would that mean, now if I'm a player and I'm playing and I'm a team that had any kind of negative impact on that, I would be feeling real bitter about that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want these dudes to get whatever kind of potential NFL death penalty they could get. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know to what extent they would go as far as punishment. But yeah, if you have knowledge to what was going on, and you just chose to act like you ain't had no clue, no, dude, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pay the price for that. You gotta lose some draft picks, get penalized some cap money or something. I don't know what they would do, but there's got to be some kind of real stiff. There's got to be a hard-nosed penalty, because this would be the second scandal. You know what I'm saying, with the Patriots. So I don't know what extent it's going to go to, but, yeah, something most definitely is going to have to happen. But that's all I really got on that. I really don't have too much in-depth insight with that one. But I'm not going to take away from Tom Brady. I'll just say this, though, before throwing it to Azura. I'm not going to take away from Tom Brady as being a great quarterback. He is a great quarterback. I'm not going to take any of that away. But I'm just saying, in this instance, if you're cheating and you got caught, or if you had any knowledge of it, and you acted like you had no clue. And then, all this stuff is coming up. Like, I've seen stuff on Twitter about he gave the ball boys, he gave them an autographed ball to bribe them with or whatever, one of their Super Bowls from a past Super Bowl or something like that. He bribed them with an autographed, signed football or whatever to do that. Like, if you're doing stuff like that, it's like, really? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, you're a great quarterback. Why you got to resort to that stuff? So if that's the case, I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm saying if that's the case, why? You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're David Garrard or you somebody. It's not like you're somebody who barely is. You're struggling and you're holding on by a thread, and oh well, I need you to cheat. I need to cheat to get ahead. Like, you don't need to cheat to get anywhere. You're a Hall of Fame QB. You're arguably one of the top 5, like one of the possibly top 3 QBs ever, and you're gonna cheat. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just wouldn't make sense to me. So, it's just crazy. But I'll throw it to Azura, man. He give his thoughts on that.
Yeah, and LaDainian Tomlinson said, he said the Patriots motto is, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So I think a lot of these teams actually cheat, man. It's just, the Patriots get caught. It just depends, man, because the difference between somebody in jail and somebody who's still not, was still out in the world, is the person in jail got caught. Everybody does something and makes mistakes, and if they're trying to get a competitive advantage, I don't see why teams wouldn't try to do something in different areas, because players do it on the field, or they used to, before regulations started coming in with, stick them on your gloves, and offensive linemen, using stuff. Defensive linemen using things to keep their jerseys from being pulled and being held. And people look for competitive advantage. Now, like Smitty, I won't take anything away from Tom Brady as being a great quarterback, because he's shown up an inflated or deflated ball in pressure moments. He's been accurate. He's been decisive. He's been what you want in clutch moments. But at the same time, if your organization is lowering the integrity of the game by doing things like that, and then trying to, hide your hands when somebody calls you on it, then that's a problem. You know what I mean? Because you're one of the teams that has been successful over a long period of time. And it calls into question, are you successful because of those things or in spite of? So, but they shouldn't have won that Super Bowl anyway, to me, because you get a ball to Marshawn Lynch and you live and die with that.
Yep.
Even though, people can say, oh, it was a good call. Don't put the ball at the end down there on the goal line. No matter if they load the box or not, we've seen amazing things with 5 and 6 defenders around him. And you live and die with your best player and people who got you there, and Marshawn Lynch and that defense. Not taking away from Russell Wilson, but Marshawn Lynch and that defense is Seattle. So, I don't know. But Tom Brady and the Patriots organization, Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick, it doesn't surprise me, honestly, because in my opinion, that's what they do. They look for ways to be competitive and getting an advantage over their opponent. Remember Spygate? Now we got Deflategate. So, it is what it is, man. They've been doing things like this. This is their history. So, at first we thought it was going to fade away. But now that since this Wells report has come out, it's like, how can you, even though it is pretty much hearsay, you can't stick too much hard evidence on them, but how could you not punish the organization or Tom Brady for not being forthright when they questioned him the first time? So we'll see what actually comes of it, because, as we know, Roger Goodell and Robert Kraft, as Richard Sherman pointed out, they boys. They be hanging over each other's house. So, probably going to say, hey, we need a small consequence on this. Please don't get us too hard. So we'll see what comes of it. But at this present point in time, I don't think it's going to be anything too serious. I would like to see it. If you, Roger Goodell, hey, stand up and make a statement, man. You get booed every time you come out. Whether it's Chicago, New York, Cleveland, anywhere you go, you get booed. And not to say that this decision would, change people's perception of you, but, I mean, he probably doesn't care about his perception. He gets paid to be the commissioner of the NFL. He probably loves his job, and he could care less what we think about him. But he's not he's not Adam Silver, so to speak, So I don't know. We'll see what comes of it, but I don't condone cheating in any form. Steroids or, deflating balls or taping opponents or recording. I don't condone that. And I think it sets a bad example for youth sports as well, because that kind of stuff trickles down, or either that or it comes from youth sports and people, thinking their child going to the NFL and the NBA and taking the little league too seriously. At the end of the day, it's a game, and NFL players are getting paid a king's ransom to play a child's game. So, all the cheating and stuff that the teams do, come on, man, give it a break, because it's not necessary to do it. Outsmart your opponent. Isn't this what we get mad about in Madden? Or, right. Playing games online is not being out-footballed by your opponent, but rather your opponent trying to manipulate the game in their favor. So the fact that, it's not about strategy, or your strategy is more so to manipulate as opposed to out-strategize, that's the problem. You know what I mean? When you start thinking of, nobody's ever done this, what if I deflate the ball? That'll make it easier for, people to drop the ball. If I throw an interception, it might not be an interception. So come on, man. You got to get better and punish people who you catch doing these type of things. So I'll pass it down.
I feel like it has to be some type of punishment if it is found true. And I guess from what the statement was saying, even if you can determine that he has some general knowledge, then now it's on the NFL to see. Let's see what they're going to do, because this is how I feel about it. And I put out a tweet, and it was interesting, some of the responses I got. I said, let's see if the NFL will punish their golden boy. And what I mean by that is it's not just Tom Brady. It's certain guys that the NFL loves, so to speak, because let's not forget it's a business. They love Tom Brady and the Peyton Manning and even the Aaron Rodgers type of guy. They love those kind of guys. Drew Brees, it's very positive. Even though he doesn't get as much love, I would even say they kind of like Ben Roethlisberger at times when it's convenient, like when it's a Ravens Steelers or something like that. But he's not as, in the spotlight as some of the other guys. You can see like Andrew Luck is on his way to being a golden boy. And what I mean by they have to do something, because cheating is cheating. It has to be. If it's against the rules, you have to do something. Now, I will say this, some of my fellow Steelers fans are, kind of judging with their hearts, and nah, man, if Bell is going to be suspended for the first couple of games, then Brady needs to be suspended. I'm like, I don't know if it's that cut and dry. I don't know if it's a 3-game suspension or something like that. But at the end of the day, it should be something. Maybe it warrants more than 3 games. I feel like a fine ain't enough, in my opinion. I'm not in agreement with fines for NFL, NBA, MLB teams. Come on, man. What is a fine? What is a fine to the Patriots organization even if it's $500,000? And that sounds like a lot to us, but you talk about an owner who has millions of dollars. What is that? for you to not lose a draft pick or for you to just be like, oh, okay, we're sorry, let's pay this $5. That ain't enough. I feel like if you're talking about the player, something has to happen to that player outside of a fee. You know, in light of what we've seen, all the stuff we saw last year, you know, with the Ray Rice situation and Adrian Peterson and Greg Hardy and Le'Veon Bell now and LeGarrette Blount gets one game. You know what I'm saying? Like, and let me stop this before it goes further. I already know because I've seen people say it already. They're making it a race thing. And I feel like, listen, let's be honest here for a moment. Let's be brutally honest. Some of the things that have happened in the NFL, who's doing it? Is it black guy or white guy? Let's just be honest. Most of the time it's black guys. So if they're the ones who are doing it and they get penalized, how can you say it's a race thing? Like, how many things are some of the white guys or any other ethnicity, what are they doing? You understand what I'm trying to say? Is like, now if we see something blatant happen and it's a slap on the wrist, and I could be, you know, forgetting some things, but I'm just saying, you know, I don't know how many domestic violence issues there have been in terms of like a white player. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't really recall them. So you can't say, oh, he's just doing that. They just doing that because it's Ray Rice, you know, he's black. You can't say that in that situation until you see, you know, until you see like an eye for an eye, until you see, oh, he did the same crime and he got off, then maybe you could talk that. And even the situation with like a Riley Cooper, that ain't had nothing to do with the NFL. You know, that was just something he said out of his mouth. But that ain't had nothing to do technically with against the rules of the NFL. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you can say it's personal conduct based on a comment somebody said at a concert. Now, you know, if he had done something, yeah. But I think you guys understand what I'm saying. So let's stay away from that, man. I know there's so much going on, and we're not blind to it. You know, we're black males, and we're not blind to what goes on in this society. You know, you got all of these, you know, different profiling things. But sometimes race is not the answer. It's not the issue. So it kind of kills me sometimes when people do that. Because as soon as I said that, and the reason why I'm even bringing this up is because I even got those type of replies. Oh, what you mean by Golden Boy? Oh, what you saying because he's white? No. That is not what I'm saying. But it is what it is. I think we're all in agreement. Something has to happen if you're found guilty, and that's just as simple as that. And Roger Goodell needs to make sure it's something that people can respect. So, moving on to the next topic. Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Oh, man, where should we begin? I don't know if I should throw it to Smitty first or if I should take it, but let me throw it to Smitty and Azure first, man. So, first of all, Smitty, let us know how you felt about the fight, who you think won the fight, what you expected from the fight, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, like your general overall feelings about what you saw on Saturday night. We already know that you were disappointed, so you know, definitely explain to us why.
Well, the main card should have been the undercard. Let's just get that out the way, because the two fights prior to it were actual boxing matches. That right there, no, that was underwhelming at best. What I expected to happen in that fight was actually a fight. You know, it not see Floyd love tap his way to victory. And, I mean, that's basically what he did. I mean, yes, is he a great defensive boxer? Yeah, he is a great defensive boxer, and he displayed that. But the problem that I have with it, a few problems. Number one, this fight should have happened 7 years ago. That's one thing. I said a long time ago. He's not going to be fighting, you know, especially at this point. He's not fighting the best Manny that he could have fought. Secondly, there was no heart
quick,
in that.
Let me ask you this question real quick, because I know people are going to ask us. What about the whole blood test situation like 5 years ago? Doesn't Manny play a role in that for not taking a blood test? I I mean, $40 million and you don't want to take a blood test?
It plays a role in it. But at the same time, Floyd's paid. So why couldn't he have just went on ahead and why is it that all the terms of Floyd's fight have to be pretty much his terms? I mean, if you look at it, virtually all these fights are on his terms. As long as you bow down to my terms, we can fight. No, bump that. Come to the table, fight. You're number one. You're the number one contender. Fight. Not, well, let's wait and wait. Let's do the Floyd Mayweather special, which is I'm going to wait till you're nice and old so that way I could say I beat the name. Or let's wait till he's got a good amount of mileage on him. Then let's fight. Like, no. Don't fight Manny when he got all these miles on him. No. Fight him when he's good and prime. That's when you fight. That's why, this fight right here had all the makings of being great, but there was no heart. There was no heart in the match. Like, there was no passion in that fight. Floyd's first fight, his very first, because I've shown somebody put a montage out of his fight. His very first fight, he had so much heart in that fight. Was he going out there trying to have a slugfest? No. He was being defensive, but he was being aggressive. He was looking like a Sugar Ray Leonard out there. Why didn't he come with that in this fight? You see, that's what I'm saying. Floyd just does just enough to get by. And then he's, up here pounding his fist like he did something. Yeah, you ain't do nothing. That's what I said. The fight was weak. And, I mean, if you got Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield, which are two of the best that ever done it, that to be disappointed with this fight, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I mean, now we're going to knock their credibility and say these guys aren't viable for their points? Like, it was a weak fight because there was no heart. There was no passion in the fight. And, like I said, Floyd just ran around, played defense, which is what he's great at. But he won the fight, but he didn't beat Manny. He didn't take him to school. He didn't do I know Stephen A is TNT all the way, but he didn't teach him a lesson. Like, I'm sorry. Manny, and to Skip's point, well, not really to Skip's point, but one thing that I find odd after looking at that fight, and I mean, a number of us, because I was with some people when we watched it, and we were all questioning that punch total. So I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, Floyd ain't throw that many punches. I don't know about all that now. They awarded that brother with a few punches. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sorry. I'm like, man, he threw more punches in that fight. At least that from what I'm looking at, I'm like, unless our eyes are all playing tricks on us, he ain't throw that many punches. And Manny was the aggressor, but, I mean, Floyd did land more punches. Like that, yes, that is very true. He was a lot more accurate, no doubt about that. Manny did lose the fight, but I feel that it should have been closer. And like I'm saying this one. Now, if these dudes fought back then, there would have been a heck of a lot more passion. There would have been a lot more, you know what I'm saying? Like, guys, these dudes would have fought for a lot more. Like, that fight seemed as if Manny was just giving an effort to just try to do something, whereas Floyd was just doing just enough to slide by. But it was touted as if, he was so masterful in his art of boxing. Like, no, he was not. I'm sorry. He ducked and ran and did what he did and throw a few jabs here and there, and everybody looked at it like he was just a boxing genius. Like, no, it wasn't masterful. And that's why I said on Twitter about it, and I'll throw it to Azura, it was like when Rampage and Rashad Evans had fought. All the build-up, all the hype and suspense. I'm going to drop you, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, blah, blah, blah. And Rashad beat Rampage, but it was the same point. Rashad won the fight, but he didn't beat Rampage. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he overwhelmed him with skill. Now, when John Jones fought Rashad Evans, he beat him. You see what I'm saying? He let it be known. He went 5 rounds and got beat. And and I'm not saying because he had some bruising and he got bloodied a bit. You don't have to get bloodied at all. but he owned him. He beat him with defense. He used his reach to his advantage. He was out striking him. He was owning him. Rashad did a little something, but at the end of the day, he got beat. You know what I'm saying? He didn't just win the fight. He owned him. He taught. Now, that teaches somebody a lesson. That's what happened. That didn't happen in this fight. Now, I really do not want to see these dudes fight again. I don't care. Manny, go have the surgery, and I don't know, retire after that. Man, Floyd, go ahead, do your last fight and retire. I don't want to see them fight again. That's going to be a complete waste. So, I'll throw it to Azura.
I liken this fight to, on Twitter, I said, it's like somebody who scores a touchdown in Madden and then puts on 2 clock immediately and just plays the rest of the game like that. Sure, you won, but you won in the most dishonorable way. You didn't beat me. You just sat up there, scored a touchdown, and then ran 2 clock. Nobody wants to see a basketball game to where they use all 24 seconds or all 23 seconds and then just throw up a shot. And that's what he did. Floyd Mayweather, rather. And this fight was way past his prime. Even in the pre-fight interviews, Floyd Mayweather even said that it wasn't about, like, he wasn't hyped up for the fight, and because it was about the money. He is, look, we know what Floyd Mayweather is. He's about the money at this point in his career. He brings a big money draw. Let's give him a hand clap for being who he is for monetary reasons. But boxing, rest in peace to boxing. Maybe he'll have another shot in 10, 15 years to get somebody else relevant. Their career might build up, and they'll have a shot again at having 2 people on the biggest stage actually fight. Because, I mean, hey, it's a boxing match. It was a boxing match, but it wasn't a fight. It was not a good fight. And I'm separating those 2 terms because Floyd outboxed Pacquiao, but he didn't fight him. And like Smitty has so eloquently put, he won, but he didn't beat up. He didn't beat up Pacquiao. He didn't beat him. It wasn't like he just sat up there and masterfully said, you know what, I'm going to beat you at your own game. Floyd just came out and said, hey, we're going to get this $200 million or whatever, and, you know, we're going to go home, hang with our families, chill, buy some Bugattis. You can pay your tithes in church, and this is what we're going to do. Because he said they were going to put on the entertainment, put on the show and entertain their fans, and they did nothing of that. Not in my opinion, but we just giving our opinions, and that's my opinion of it. I'm entitled to it, but it was not a good fight. Rest in peace to boxing. Now you wonder why MMA is more popular or boxing has faded recently, because you get on the grand stage. That was boxing's chance to be put back on the grand stage of, hey, casually, I need to watch this again because I'm a casual boxing fan. I'm not following people on the undercard. The greatest boxer in the world could have been on the undercard. I didn't watch him. I didn't care. I cared about the main event. And for it to come out and be that was underwhelming. And he got paid. He did what he was supposed to do. He won. And we all know. Look, I've watched Floyd fight before. I know he's a defensive fighter. But you can have aggression with your defense. You know what I mean? And to me, Floyd didn't show that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. And, you know, coming after me, maybe Sim can clean it up and see, because he's the boxing aficionado out of the 3 of us. I don't care for boxing, honestly. I mean, it hadn't been good to me since Tyson, you know, Holyfield, that era. And then going backwards, like Smitty mentioned, Sugar Ray, all that era of boxing was great. Oscar De La Hoya, Zab Judah, even more recently, just, you know, going back towards that. But recently now, and what we have now, if Floyd Mayweather is going to represent the sport, that's a bad look. So we'll see what happens in the future with boxing. But RIP, you had a chance to revive. That was the clear. And they rubbed the two things together. Come on, boxing. Give me one more chance. And I think that was it. I mean, I don't know if people will give it a shot again unless it's, like I said, built up over some years of a heavyweight. Because Klitschko is dominating the heavyweight division. So until they find somebody who can compete with him, it's just him. And then you have Floyd Mayweather, who is a huge draw because people know him socially. You know, he's a big social interactor. He's in the news all the time. People know about him. And then he gets out there, and this is what we get for entertainment. So I'm going to pass it to Sim. I'm sure he has a different perspective, but see, boxing still, you had a chance and you blew it. Sim.
Man, I have so much to say. I'm going to try to condense it. Here's a funny analogy before I even get started. For everybody who's listening, just think about this real quick, and it just came to me. What we're looking at here, this conversation reminds me of Madden NFL, right? We're sim heads. We want to see the most simulation football game possible. Then you have the masses. They're casual fans. Casual fans look at Madden the same way Azur just described the fight. He said as a casual fan, he wanted to see a fight. He didn't necessarily want to see a boxing match. Because believe it or not, folks, boxing is a very technical, tactical sport. The truth of the matter is, and this is not a knock. I mean, there's no problem with what I'm about to say. But the truth of the matter is, most people who watch boxing, let's be honest, you want to see a fight. You know, I came up in the era, you know, when I was young, I saw Tyson fight. Guys like that. I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat because I know at any moment somebody gonna get knocked out. That spoiled most viewers. Now me, I am a boxing. I mean, God, I'm into boxing as much as I am to football. Like y'all don't even understand how far my roots go back with boxing. I've been around boxers. I've been around, people that's been in the amateurs, and I know Golden Glove guys. Even right now, my mother-in-law's husband was an ex-professional, trainer out of D.C. I go with him even now here in Pennsylvania to the gym. Like, that's how rooted I am with boxing. I've been watching boxing since I was 2 years old at least. I know the ins and outs. But I'm a unique boxing fan because I like brawls and I like technical fights. Perfect example. A lot of people wanted to see, I won't go this extreme, but I'm going to say it just for sake. Test some of the guys who are listening. I want to test your knowledge. People want to see Mickey Ward against Arturo Gatti. They want to see that bloodbath. Better yet, I'll give you some guys who are better at fighting. Those two guys, the reason why those fights were so good, because neither one of them were that great. Arturo Gatti had his moments, but Mickey Ward was really not that great of a boxer. So when them two fought, yeah, that's what you're going to get. And it was amazing to see. But let me give you some guys that had better talent. Fernando Vargas versus Felix Trinidad. For you guys who know boxing, that was a brawl. Wasn't a whole lot of boxing going on. But those guys were talented. So that's what we wanted to see. Now, for you guys that know boxing, look at a fight like Guillermo Rigondeaux against Nonito Donaire. Most people would have went to sleep watching that fight. Me, I was like, wow, this is a boxing clinic. Donaire couldn't do nothing because every time he tried to do something, Rigondeaux, bam, counter shot, boom, stick and move. But, see, I understand the art of boxing. Now, let's bring it to Floyd Mayweather. I got into, light conversation with folks about Floyd in general. And I was like, listen, I'll be the first one to tell you, that fight, that wasn't exciting. I appreciated what I saw because I know what was going on, but it didn't meet the hype because I'm sure Everybody wanted to see a fight break out. But you have to remember, that's not Floyd Mayweather. Number two, a lot of the blame also has to be put on Manny Pacquiao. Here's the reason why I say that. Even I thought it was going to be a difficult fight because Manny is a presser. He presses people. He keeps coming. Which, and ironically, is the same reason why I said even 5 years ago he wouldn't have beat Floyd. The people who know me know I've been saying this for years. I always said Pacquiao cannot beat Floyd Mayweather. The reason why is because he takes too many punches. No defense. He's just a guy that keeps coming. He rarely gets hurt, so he just keeps coming. He takes a few. He'll come in and he lands his shot, and a lot of times you go down. That's Pacquiao. Pacquiao fights similar to Ricky Hatton. Not knocking Pacquiao, but think about how they fight. Both of those guys were just dudes that just kept coming. A counter puncher will destroy them, a la Juan Manuel Marquez. Why did Manny get knocked out with that right hand? Beautiful counter shot, because he keeps coming. So I always said if it came to a boxing match, and I think Azua Smitty remember me saying this about this fight. I said, if Floyd turns it into a boxing match, Manny ain't going to win. He don't have a chance. But if he stands there and they fight, he got a chance. Now, let me go back a little bit. When Mayweather fought Diego Corrales, that was a fight. When he fought Zab Judah, good fight. A semi-fight with Oscar De La Hoya. It was a little older Oscar, even though Oscar was 34 at that time. So in all honesty, he was older, but he wasn't over the hill yet. It was a decent fight. He schooled Canelo Alvarez. Bigger guy. He beat the brakes off of him, but that dude was way too slow for Floyd. Come on. Now, Miguel Cotto, that was a fight for Floyd. He had to turn it up in that fight. And it's because Cotto was bringing it to him, something Pacquiao did not do. There not enough people are blaming Pacquiao for his lackluster performance, and I definitely blame him if he was injured, because why would you do that? Why would you jump into a mega fight if you knew you were injured? And see, I got a problem with that, because now you put on a facade for everybody, talking about y'all going to knock him out and all that. Dude, if you're not at your best, you don't take that mega fight right then. Some could say he went for the money. Isn't that ironic? But in my opinion, man, Floyd, if you look at his last, 10 fights, what has he done differently? I'm not saying it was the right way to fight. I'm not saying people are supposed to love that fight. But I'm saying, and my guys here know, I told these guys, we talked about it before, I said, man, if he's Floyd, that's how the fight is going to go. That's what he does. Jab, jab, right cross. Jab, jab, right cross. Counter shot, right hook, left to the body every now and then. That's Floyd Mayweather. Duck and dodge, back in the corner, grab when he needs to. And to me, as a true boxing fan, it's beautiful boxing. You know who else does that? Bernard Hopkins. So if people didn't like Floyd fight, you must hate Bernard Hopkins. Matter of fact, he actually holds a little more than Floyd. Roy Jones was similar to that. The only difference is Roy would attack at times. But that just goes back to the style, man. Not everybody is an attacking fighter. And, to sum it all up, I really think the anticipation was that we all thought at one time that Manny Pacquiao may have presented a problem, and that's what people were holding on to. So when they saw Floyd fight him the same way he fights and handles everyone else, it was disappointing because you thought this was the guy that it could make a difference. So people wanted Floyd to stand in there and fight. Now let's be honest. To me, it's somewhat of a respect level, because if I'm fighting a guy that I know has a puncher's chance, why am I going to stand in there and bang with him just to please the crowd if that ain't the way I fight? You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's why I can't blame Floyd, because he's not showing me nothing that I haven't seen before from him. But like I said, the Cotto fight surprised me because I was like, whoa, Cotto bringing it to him. He got to fight him now. Look at the Maidana fight. Perfect example. Mayweather should have came in like that. That first fight, Maidana was all over him. first couple rounds. He was all over Floyd. Had Floyd backing up. What did he do later in the round? Later in the fight. Adjusted and won. That's why I say, I don't care what nobody says. And personally, let me say this too, so you know I'm not biased. I don't necessarily like Floyd outside of the ring. Not a fan of his really outside of the ring. His antics and all that, that ain't my boat. That ain't my cup of tea. But as a fighter, like a boxer, one of the best ever. As far as boxing. Smart dude, man. You can't take that from him. And like I said, I've been watching boxing so long. I've seen him in fights. He can fight. He just chooses to fight the way he wants. I can't necessarily be mad at that, even if it ain't entertaining to me. So that's just my opinion on it. Like I definitely agree with Smitty's point. I agree with what Azul is saying. But all I'm saying is, if you really watch boxing, man, you know, like a lot of the dudes I know, and just some of the people I came in contact with, just talking on the train. A lot of people who really watch boxing like that, they say the same thing I did. It's like, man, he gonna do the same thing he do to everybody else. Ain't gonna be no different. And Smitty knows that. Like, you know how long I've been saying that, man. He can't beat Floyd because Floyd gonna box him. He can't beat him. Only way he got a chance is if he stand in front of him, which that's what we wanted him to do. I say we because I always speak in reference to everybody. We wanted to see him stand there and throw slug punches. Like, come on, man, Floyd ain't doing that. So I wasn't disappointed.
Have to do that.
I knew he don't have to do that though. That's
he don't know, but he don't. But he don't have to. But he don't have to act like a chicken and run around the yard though either. He's fought where he's done. He's fought where he's moved and still got the shots in. That's why I said Sugar Ray Leonard. But he don't do that though.
The point is though, he has done that. Like, let's just be honest. Why do that? Why stand in the pocket? What would be his reason? If he knows it could be a chance somebody might catch him, why would you do that? But the public wanted to see that. That's all I'm saying. You all wanted to see that, but you can't blame him. And let me clear this up real quick. People saying he ran up. Come on, bro. You've seen worse running than that. Oscar De La Hoya versus Phoenix Trinidad. Oscar clearly won that fight, but you know why he lost? Last 6 rounds, he went into cruise control, and he ran around the ring. That was running. Floyd ain't do that. Floyd did what he always does. Hey, that's a difference of opinion. Hey, if that's how you feel, I can't change that. But in my opinion, looking at boxing, he did not run to the degree that everybody says he ran. I'm telling you, it's because of who it was. If this wasn't Manny Pacquiao, nobody would say anything. I guarantee you. He fought Maidana the same way. Nobody really said anything. Only thing they said in that first fight was they thought Maidana won. But they didn't say anything about Floyd's defense. Because that wasn't the big built-up, that wasn't the built-up fight. But Pacquiao is the big, I agree with you guys. I'm just saying, this is why you didn't see it. I didn't expect it, so I wasn't let down.
All right, let me instance of competition. All right, we have seen competition before, and that you want to see 2 greats go at it.
Right.
There's Michael, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, such and such and so forth, And for so long, we have heard Mayweather, Pacquiao. And I think the frustration comes from finally getting to see it and it not be what it's supposed to have been. Because let's just look at it like this. Let's just say LeBron and Kevin Durant, for example, in the NBA. They keep missing each other in the finals. Let's just hypothetically say they weren't playing each other. And they get to about 36, 37, and they finally play. Now, LeBron can no longer be the LeBron that he used to be. He can't go to the hole. He's shooting jump shots and, passing the teammates. Well, what he does now. But he's no longer the LeBron we used to know. And Kevin Durant is not the Kevin Durant he used to be. People would be disappointed to see them actually play in the finals, and it'd be terrible. And to me, it was a one-sided boxing match. Even if you want to call Floyd the victor and being masterful in boxing, and he's so strategic and so smart in the ring. Don't bother that. Wasn't good. For it
right.
to,
but you have to admit, though, Pacquiao has to take some of that blame. What was Pacquiao doing? Let's just be honest.
He can take the blame, but what I'm saying is, I think the point for me is, you have Floyd, who's very braggadocious, right?
Yeah, he is.
And he doesn't have an equal. And Pacquiao's not an equal, obviously. He doesn't have equal. You know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
No, I'm saying, to me, this is just me. He doesn't have an equal to somebody you can look on the other side and say, hey, this guy's equally smart. He's just as good as boxer as Floyd. And Floyd, if it gets in the ring with him, Floyd might lose. To me, he don't take no fights like that. And I don't like that. But that's just me. But
ain't nobody out there. Only dude out there right now.
That's one of the frustrating things about
Keith Thurman is the only dude I think he shouldn't fight. That's the only guy right now I think he shouldn't fool with is Keith Thurman. Only because that dude is young and up and coming and he punch hard. And I'll throw another scenario out there. People talking about him going up and him and Andre Ward fighting at a catchweight. He don't want that either. Andre Ward is one guy that I think that could beat Floyd. But let's be fair. That's a lot of weight. So you asking him to go way up there to fight Ward, you can't do that.
No, for you to be bragging.
That's why UFC is better. There ain't no you can't and you don't have to and you don't. If you're not gonna fight, you gonna lose them belt. There ain't gonna be I'm not gonna do it. And I'm not gonna ain't no. And the other thing too is blaming Pacquiao. Like, no, you get in the ring. If you get beat, you get beat. That's it. Floyd didn't, and that's why I said Floyd didn't beat him. Floyd won the fight, but he didn't beat him.
You can't sit there and say that Pacquiao wasn't as laid back as Pacquiao didn't look like Pacquiao to me. Now people can say Floyd ran here and there, but Pacquiao didn't press the issue either. So you can't just blame Floyd. Because you know what? Floyd did exactly what most people expected him to do. Period. Like that is fact. That ain't even an opinion. I mean, your opinion is he ran all night. And that's your opinion and other people's opinion. The fact of the matter is, this is fact. This is on record. Manny Pacquiao and Freddie Roach said they had 3 game plans. If he decided to run, they was prepared for that. So I don't want to hear an excuse after the fact when you wasn't as aggressive as I wanted him to be. I wanted to see Manny Pacquiao and see how Floyd would, crack under that pressure. So if anything, and the last thing I'm gonna say about it is, we definitely got to move on. And I figure we'll grab the calls first, and if we got time after that, we'll come back to the Mutt thing. But the last thing I would say about it is, if anything, I got to blame them both for not giving it a very exciting fight. I can't, that whole one-sided thing against Floyd, I can't get with that. Because, like I said, like Azur said, I'm a boxing head. I know what was going to take place. I told everybody before the fight happened, Floyd is going to fight him the same way. Manny Pacquiao needs to figure out how to crack that. And Manny was very laid back in that fight for the most part.
At the end of the day, you got to show me why you're the greatest of all time. Now I'd slap an asterisk on that after that fight. If the aggressor, and I'm just saying that because if the aggressor was that laid back, you should have owned him, and you didn't. That's what I'm saying. You should have owned it. I mean, you didn't. You had the opportunity, and you didn't do it. You just did enough instead of owning it. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with that, but it still would have to make me say it's different styles of fighters. He's not an aggressive fighter. I mean, that's the truth. He's not.
Floyd's shown aggression.
When? In the last 10 fights, when has he been aggressive? Let's put that out there.
No, I'm not saying in the last 10 fights. No, he's trying to preserve something. He ain't going out there for art. He's going out there for a record.
But this is what I'm trying to tell you. That is the answer right there. This is why nobody should have expected that. I'm not saying don't be disappointed. My only point in this is nobody should have expected to see a slug match. It is not going to happen right now. Maybe, like you said, 5-6 years ago, we might have seen a different fight. I still think Floyd would have beat him on boxing skill, but it would have been a much better, entertaining fight. But at this point in his career, you ain't going to see that. So, to me, I kind of was like, I understand y'all being mad, but you got to understand going in, I didn't think we was going to see nothing like that. I thought Pacquiao was going to get him out of his comfort zone. It didn't happen. So, it's what it is, but I agree with you fellas, man. It was not exciting. You know, it would have been great to see more excitement, but that's how Floyd fights, man. But guys, man, as you can see, these are great topics that we had tonight, man. We want to get to you guys, the callers. Anyone who's listening online, if you want to call and give a comment about anything, you can reach us at 914-338-0794. If we have time after we take our calls, we'll definitely come back and talk about the Mutt situation. But, you know, we've talked about that so much, we could definitely get to that next week or what have you. So first up, we'll bring in a resident 757. After that, 267-205, and then another 757 after that. So let's go ahead and get it started. Just to do a time check, we have 38 minutes. So everyone, we just ask, you know, be mindful of the time so we can get everyone's call in and questions answered. 757, man, what's going on tonight?
What's going on, fellas? It's a great show, as always. Listen to the guys talk about Manny Pacquiao and Floyd. I consider myself a little boxing person who watches more than most people also. We had a champion back home from Virginia called Sweet Pea Whitaker.
Yes, sir.
Also fought in the same kind of manner. He did a lot of duck. He was very hard to hit. If you watch Floyd, the last time that he actually had to fight was when he had to get that the belt from De La Hoya, because he was the B fighter. So that's the last time we could see Floyd really have to fight for something. Now Floyd's at the point now where he's like, you got to come get it from me. I'm not going to give it to you. I think they show fights like Hearns and Hagler, when those guys sit in the middle of the ring and pounded each other out. Floyd will tell you, I want to live beyond this point. I want to keep my sound mind. So he ain't trying to take a whole bunch of blows. He done broke both his hands. So he ain't doing all that punching no more. He had a reach advantage, a height advantage, and he outboxed Pacquiao. Dude, people don't like how he fights, but if you watch Floyd been doing that since he got the belt from De La Hoya.
Yep.
This is how he's fought. That's how he's going to fight. He's going to fight a taxi driver. In this last fight, he's going to salute you, and he's going to go on his way. He may come back to try to break the record if they offer him so much money that he can't turn it down. But this is Floyd. That what people need to be pissed off is that punk-ass shit, the punk-ass mess that Pacquiao put out. That's not the way that man fought. That's not what got him to that point of fighting Floyd. When he came out in that first round, and he just stood there and he won't really fight, and I looked at my homie and said, this fight's over. He said, what? I said, man, he's not doing his normal thing.
He won't
he's a aggressive fighter. He presses the whole fight. Then he got to the second round, tried to press a little bit. I said, this is over. It's over. He's not fighting. They said, oh, his shoulder and all that. It ain't had nothing to do with that. He had a different respect for Floyd. I don't know if it was the crowd. I don't know if it was what the situation was. But that Pacquiao that I seen, more the Pacquiao that I had seen come through the ranks. That wasn't the same guy. Now, when he caught Floyd with that shot, and you seen him catch Floyd on the ropes, and he was giving him all he had, that's how Pacquiao usually fights the whole daggone fight. I'm going to give it everything I got. If I fall out or get knocked out, it is what it is. I wasn't upset with the fight at all. This is what I knew, putting down that 100, that was what I was going to get. I mean, the boy is whether you like it or don't like it, he boxes his butt off. Period, point blank. A lot of people don't like it. But the boy technician, man. He is. He's a technician. People just don't like it. That's all I got to say, because Sim summed it up, man. It's about two fighters out there that he don't want to fight and he ain't gonna fight. One, he got to go up to a catchweight to fight, and he ain't going up that far. He'll make Buddy come down to him, but he ain't going up. And that other young boy, he ain't getting in there with all that young energy and slugging it out. Ain't gonna happen. He doesn't have to. Whether we like it or not, he ain't got to.
Let me ask you
you
this.
better leave that boy alone.
Before you get off the line, let me ask you this, 757. Are you more respectful of a football team that say, you know what, I can stretch you out 5 wide, or I can get you in the power O and pound you? Do you respect a team that can do that, or you just respect the team that can say, hey, this is me, this is what I'm going to do, that is what it is? I like teams that say, you know what, I can beat you at your game, or I can play my own game. And that's what I don't like about Florida.
You know what I like, to be honest? I like execution. And I give you examples. There's 3 different teams that executed very well with a system. One, we're going to go back to the Houston Oilers with the run and shoot. They brought that run and shoot in there. They threw it 50 times a game, and they destroyed people. They lost to Buffalo in that championship game. How, I still don't know. But they destroyed. They executed the run and shoot. San Francisco, early 80s, early 90s, the West Coast. They brought it into existence, coming off the play fake, taking a 3-yard dump to the running back, letting him run for 8 and always staying in 3rd and short. And the last one is the stretch run plays that Denver ran. They executed it to flawless. They just needed a running back there that understood how to run in that stretch read, that stretch run. I'm an execution guy, to be honest. The teams that pound you out.
Be more impressive if a team can execute multiple schemes? Isn't that more impressive?
That's preference, though, man. We're getting into preference.
But still, no team. Who does that?
What I'm saying, in boxing, you can have that. You can have that in boxing. I'm trying to bringing it back around to the point of
is Michael Jordan known as one of the greats for just being good for flying through the air, and that's it.
But, he's
known for his all around game. Like he can beat you.
Talk about that example.
But if you want to use Mike, you got to use Mike. But you got to use Mike. You also got to talk about Michael Jordan and his progression as a basketball player. When he came into the league, he was dunk fest. As he got better, he developed a jumper,
and he learned to jump shot.
Shooter.
He still played even after the second comeback. Even off the second comeback, he still played on ball deep. He still did his fadeaway. He still did.
All right, so now let me bring it. Okay, I get it. Now let me bring it full circle. When Floyd started out fighting, he was more of a fighter.
Yep.
As he progressed through his years, he became a boxer. He lost in the gold medal match against that dude and became a pro fighter. He pulled his team back. His dad got out of jail. His uncle started training him, and they taught him the technical aspects of boxing. Now, through him coming through the ranks, he had to fight in order to get to a place where he could use more a strategic way of how he did it. He left that Golden Boy Sports or whatever for $750,000, became his own brand, and at that point, he could do it the way that he wanted to do it with the people that he wanted in his camp, and he did it his way. Do we like it? No. Are we used to seeing that? No. But we would never see a heavyweight boxer like we've seen in the past. You know why? Because most of those guys who are 6'4", that can sling them and throw some bangers are playing basketball, football, and hockey. They're not going to the basketball gym. They're not going to the boxing gym. They're playing a sport. You got a bunch of big dudes out there that probably can throw them hands, but they shooting jumpers and making tackles. So all that stuff that we're seeing is gone. In basketball, all that banging, those guys playing hard, the bad boys of Detroit, is dead.
Yeah, that's gone, man.
Football, them safeties that's knocking people out, them Ronnie Lotts, them Adwaters, that's gone. one, they got to protect the players more than they ever have in the past. And two, they have so much financial money tied into those players, they can't afford for them to get hurt. Now, it's interesting to see what the commissioner's going to do to Brady. For the simple fact the players are looking at that you always stood in the pulpit, in your NFL pulpit, and you said one thing. It doesn't matter the team. It doesn't matter the player. If you did something wrong, you're going to be punished for it. And that's what they want to see him. And if they do not punish him for what they're saying that he said he has no increments of doing or anything about, which we know not to be true, if he doesn't lose anywhere from 4 to 8 games, lose some draft picks, and that daggone head coach also miss some games, it's going to be a problem. Because he can't punish any other guys in that same manner that he has in the past if he does not punish him in the same manner that he has always punished the rest of the guys. Guys, I love y'all, man. We got to keep pushing the genre forward on Madden. It's coming. We're excited about it. Football season is in the air. And we need y'all guys in that room, man. We appreciate you. I don't care what the Twitter followers and all those guys. I've been following y'all for a long time. And the thing that I love about y'all guys is that y'all passionate about the sport just as I am. All sports. It's just not football. It's just the competitiveness in the sports genre as a whole. Guys, keep doing what you're doing. Keep pushing the genre forward, man. Keep giving us great topics and a great show. Man, and I appreciate it, man. Love y'all dudes, man.
Yeah, man. Likewise, man. We definitely appreciate you bringing the perspective in and everything. And, you know, the spin that you put on the whole thing, it's like I said, before we grab 267, I'll be very brief. It comes down to preference. It really comes down to preference. You know, if it's not what you want to see, and that includes myself, you might not like it as much. You know, I don't necessarily I don't like the Spurs, man. I like Tim Duncan, but I don't necessarily like them because they ain't that exciting to me. But you know what? I'm starting to like them more because I appreciate the basketball in them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a basketball team, whether you like it or not. So, to me, that's what it comes down to with any sport. Fighting and all of that. If you like to see fight, then some boxes ain't going to tickle your fancy, man. So, let's grab 267. Smitty will give you your reply. 205 will be Azure, and then back to 757. I'll reply to you. And if any other callers come in, we'll rotate back. And if not, we'll try to grab the MUT topic real quick before we get out of here. All right, 267, man, we got you on live. How you doing tonight?
Fellas, what's happening? How y'all doing?
All right. Good. What's going on?
All right. Yeah, man, I'm just going to touch on that fight, man. You know what I'm saying? And we all know that Floyd Mayweather is a technician and everything. All right, that's known, and we know that I was a brawler. But my thing is, I look at the fight, and you look at how much revenue that these fighters made off this fight. You got my man Floyd coming in the ring with you blow shorts on. You know what I'm saying? So I just looked at that aspect of it, and I'm like, yo, this fight made so much money. If you're selling the fight for $100 on TV, you understand what I'm saying? So what Smitty said about the punch total count when they showed them on the screen, and I'm like, whoa, hold up. I didn't agree with that either. I didn't think he landed that many punches, or I don't know whether it was landed or thrown, but I did see that, and I didn't agree with that at all. I don't think Floyd Mayweather was in the fight. I think Manny Pacquiao was a lot more aggressive than Floyd Mayweather. But I mean, when you talking about the champion, you have to go out there and go physically beat up the champion. I was talking to my dad about the fight. He said back when Ali and Frazier and all of them was fighting, he said you actually had to go, when you wanted that title, you had to go beat those guys. You wasn't winning off the points. You had to either knock him out. You had to physically beat the champion up. So for him to be the champion, it's much respect. I don't like arrogance, so that's why I wanted Manny Pacquiao to beat him. You understand what I'm saying? I can't stand the arrogant dude. But, I mean, that's who he is. Look at him. He's flashy, the money team. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? He throw money on YouTube and on whatever video it was. It is what it is. You understand what I'm saying?
I don't like all that.
That's his lifestyle. I don't like all that. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, I'm 26 years old, man, and I went back and I love boxing. I went back and I watched all the fights of Sugar Ray Leonard. I'll be on YouTube for days and watching Ali and just looking at the documentaries. Ali, yeah, he hassled Frazier a lot. He hassled everybody. They called him the Louisville Lip. You understand what I'm saying? That's just what he was about. But Ali, you never seen Ali as a person the way that he was, the way that Floyd Mayweather is. You understand what I'm saying? I love Ali. I think he's the greatest fighter of all time. So when he came out and said he's the greatest fighter, I kind of lost a whole bunch of respect for him after that. Because, you know, you had fighters that paved the way for you to be where you are right now. So, I mean, just pay homage, man, and be humble, man. I'm all about the humbleness of human beings, man. Because once that money is all, you got all that money, but once you exit, you can't take it with you, man. So, I mean, kudos to the fight, man. Kudos to y'all. Like I said, 757 said it's the best. You know what I mean? So, you know, continue doing what y'all doing, man. I appreciate it. You know, I'll let y'all, man.
All right, man. Well, thanks for the call. And, yeah, I agree. I was talking about the punch total, not really the contact, the shots land. Like, in some rounds, the shots landed was a bit questionable, but it was really the overall punch total that I was talking about. And, yeah, about the whole, you know, Floyd saying what he said, but I think Mike Tyson made a very good point. There's no way that Floyd is one of the greatest because, like what he said, he can't even take his own kids to school. He got to have security every single spot he goes to. It's like when you're accepted, when you're one of the greatest people accept you to the point where you ain't got to have all that. They could just see you and you could be out and about. You could take your kids to school yourself and not have any problem. He can't even do something as simple as that. Like if he wants to run to McDonald's like he always show, he got to have detail. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't do anything like that because of how he presents himself, like, overall. So, you know, and that's why I said, like, I agree definitely with what you're saying there. But, thanks definitely for the call and for the support, bro.
Yeah, man, and to add my quick 2 cents on that, T.I. almost touched him up in that burger joint. When you respect the champ, that don't happen, man. You know what I'm saying? If you respect the champ, you be like, hey, man, champ, can we talk, man? You know, you talking to my lady. What's going on here? You ain't just gonna swing on him. See, and like dude said, I don't like Floyd's personal stuff. But yeah, I definitely agree with you guys with that. So let's go ahead and grab 205. What's going on tonight, man? How you doing?
Not much, man. Trying to get my new TV put up. But I guess y'all know how about that goes with those flat screens.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to just get on a little Madden. Is that okay? Besides Floyd, I didn't watch the fight, and I really didn't care. I already knew what was going to go on. And that happened.
Man. You can move on past that.
Okay. Going on with Madden, I guess y'all heard that they're going to, they're starting the whole cover vote and everything. I really don't care about the cover vote. I mean, that's just me. I understand it's cool. The young kids like to do it and all that stuff. But as for me, as a gameplay guy and somebody who wants this game to be pushed to the next level and next gen, which we're always talking about, I understand they're building the hype and they're getting ready to go on this whole hype train. And here next month we'll be at E3. There's just so many things I wish E3, would open up for us as far as sim gamers. I would love to see Joe Montana come out, show video footage. You have both those games being showed on the same stage at different times, of course, because Xbox will probably do it exclusive at their time, and then EA does their thing. My biggest thing right now is I would love to see both those companies come out with 2 totally different games. And I really don't think Joe Montana needs to steal any ideas or Madden needs to steal any ideas from them. Just be 2 different football games so we all have a better experience and we all can pick and choose or buy both games, which I'll probably buy both anyway. And that's just kind of how I feel. That way we'll have some separation since we don't have college football anymore and we actually have 2 different versions of football, and we all can have a good time and the community can be one again. which it probably never will, of course, but it can be closer to being, what it should be, and it should be about the games. And that's how I feel, and y'all have a great show, and I love everything y'all said so far. And that's pretty much all I have to say, guys. Peace.
Appreciate the call, man. I think that we can agree with you in the notion that the cover, we don't care who's on the cover. We care about what's under the cover. We care about how the game plays. And just touching on the Montana real quickly about them in E3 and Madden in E3, I hopefully, because we don't know anything really about Montana. Damon Grove just puts out little teasers. He put out something that indicated or could be an indicator of a My Player type mode or story mode in Montana. So until they actually release some concrete stuff, I think they're going to be two totally different football games. And that's good. That could be a good thing because, you'll feed off each other in the competition way, or you'll just have something different that a different offering of football, which could be good because that way you can get, two different things from two different games. So reluctantly, we just have to sit back and wait and see what they show for E3, but I think we all in agreement that, we don't care who's on the cover of Madden, Montana. We just care how the game plays, and that gameplay and football principles will be respected, and that we'll have competition back in the community, and both games have great offerings. That's all we can hope for.
Yep, and the only side note to that is, listen, y'all already know how we feel. I think I speak for the guys. They taking too long as is. Ain't no if. They must show something at E3. And I ain't talking about confirming the game. They need to show something in action. Because it's getting ridiculous right now. I mean, as much as we're all, how are we are anticipating something that we still don't know fully about. That's the only part of this Montana thing that I don't agree with. So E3 better be their coming out party. I mean, it must be. Ain't no if, but that's all I'm going to say about that. So hopefully, we see something and we like it, and 2 football games would be great. All right, 757, man, we got you on live. What's going on tonight, man?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Hey, can you hear me? What's going on?
Yeah,
man, real quick, man. I kind of jumped on late, so I kind of jumped into the boxing part, but I got one word, man. Well, 2 words, really. Sweet science. You know what I mean? To me, if you look at that fight, Pacquiao was throwing punches. He's off balance. He's a good fighter, but learn how to box, man, period. Don't nobody go into a ring to get knocked out. If you want to beat the best, learn how to beat the best, whether you got to slug it out, whether you need to work on your footwork or do whatever. But that's just my 2 cents on that. We got what we got, and that's what I anticipated. At the end of the day, it is what it is. But real quick, though, on the Madden topic real quick, I've been reading online, man. A lot of people want these features in Madden or whatever game, and it's kind of ridiculous because I was reading something the other day, people want custom stadiums. Who cares about custom stadiums? All you're going to do is get a screenshot before you play the game, and the rest of the game, you're on the field. Why you want these people to focus on something and they can put their time and energy into making us a better game? Save the memory, save the time, and focus on what's necessary. Custom stadiums ain't necessary. It's like the whole thing with the Joe Montana football. You showing me a face. They got helmets on. Unless he gonna look like that, unless he gonna take his helmet off and everybody gonna look like that on the sidelines, which I highly doubt. I don't care what the dude look like. His face could be blank. Does the game play right? That's what I want. Does the game play right? Exactly. But a few other quick comments, man, and I'll let y'all get to it. I played Madden like the other day for like the first time since I bought Madden 2015. And it's sickening how Madden tries to translate difficulty with the AI, and I think you guys have touched on this before, by cheating the game. I called some play, and the freaking tight end, dude, I took him out of a hot route, and I drive back, I'm getting sacked, and I'm like, what the hell happened? The freaking tight end then went into an animation. He done slid all the way across the line like he going into motion. I just turned the game off and just said, fuck it. Because it's terrible how they try to translate difficulty by cheating you instead of, if you want to translate difficulty, have the computer show me a different formation and have me read that formation. Learn football. Maybe you show me an amoeba defense, and maybe you might not really be blitzing, or maybe you might not be in the zone, but translate the difficulty that way instead of cheating me in order to translate the difficulty because I'm getting the best of the computer. And with that being said, it just goes back to feeling like you earn what you got. Football is a game of inches, so you have to work for everything you get, like in anything really, but that's the type of feeling that you should get out of that game. I should feel like I earned that yard, or I should earn that 10 yards or that touchdown that I threw for, 30 yards or whatever. I should feel like I earned it. But that's not translated in Madden. You don't get that feeling. Unlike FIFA, where if you're playing that game, if I'm on the field, I felt like I was on the field. I felt like if I was running, I felt like I was actually running. It felt like, I felt like I ran somewhere. You don't get that feeling in Madden. Instead, you can juke, 4 or 5 players, and you can still hit your top speed running down the field. You shouldn't be able to do that. That's not simulation football. If I do that, if that happens in real life, those guys are gassed if they end up breaking those runs. And if they end up staying on the field, they gas even more for the next play. The next play, they might have to take a breather. They should have that type of simulation in football. That's what should be focused on, not custom stadiums. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got to say for the day, man. I just wanted to get my little 2 cents in on that. Like I said, hopefully you guys, man, you keep pushing forward, man, and I know you guys are talking to the Bears. I know you're in their ears, so hopefully, we do get what we want out of Madden. And another thing real quick, I did see something, man. I know y'all probably know about this Frostbite 3 engine, man. That engine is sick. What they doing for this golf game, I really hope and pray, which I highly doubt it happened, that Madden is working on something in the background, and maybe they're using this engine. I hope and pray every year, but we get disappointed. But if they could use an engine like that, they probably not going to use the Unreal 4 engine because they don't want to copy Joe Montana. But that Frostbite 3 engine, man, that's what Madden needs. They need to bring that to Madden, period. But other than that, man, you guys have a good day, man. I appreciate what you guys are doing, man, for the community, bro. One.
Definitely appreciate your call, man. And I see that 757. I can hear that VA hypeness, man. We own that. We speak with aggression at times and say what we got to say. So I love it, man. And it's funny, if people don't believe that, that's 2757. You see how they talk. You see how I do, born and raised in VA. So I always love, my Virginians, man, when they get their point across. But definitely, you said a lot. I'm not even going to touch on the fight because we've done that all night. But, hey, I agree. And Floyd Mayweather's type of fighting is not going to be the most attractive to people who don't like, actual boxing matches. I tell y'all what, you want to see a fight? Make sure you tune in to Canelo Alvarez versus James Kirkland on the 16th. That's going. I promise you. I bet you money that's going to be a fight. That's going to be one you don't want to miss. That will be very entertaining. But in regards to what you said about Madden, man, preaching to the choir, man. And some of the stuff you said, I hear from Azure Tech all the time. Like AZ is always preaching that whole difficulty thing, and that's something that we're always in the dad's ear about. And believe it or not, even the whole Frostbite situation, that's something that we've, mentioned to them, like, hey, y'all need to do that. You got a engine that seems like would be great for your sports titles right there. And, definitely I can say this with confidence, we haven't heard anything of that nature. You know what I mean? So I will say this as well. A lot of times at EA Sports, there's stuff that is occurring that we don't know about. Just because we're game changers, we don't know everything. Because even since we've been down there, it's been stuff that's come out, say, like in Madden 25, and we was like, oh, I didn't know you was doing that. You know what I mean? So we've actually put that in their ear. I think the guys here can agree the most we've gotten from that is like a laugh and a grin. they won't say much to us. So we're going to keep pushing that as well. We definitely, Frostbite has to be on the docket. I mean, it has to be. We can't let that pass up like that. Because, I mean, you're right. When I saw that, just the screenshot from PGA Tour, oh, my God. I mean, I know it ain't about visuals, but come on. Who would complain about great gameplay and amazing visuals? I don't think none of us can complain about that. But, yeah, thanks for the call, man. Everything you said, we absolutely agree with, and we're going to keep on pushing. We got about 9 minutes here, so let's try to knock out a little bit of this mutt talk real quick. I guess I'll kick it off, man, so we can speed through it. Well, I'm going to start from this aspect real quick, then I'll throw it to Smitty. We got pulled into a conversation where the guy is asking us why is simulation football not, being represented, and, they were beefing over ratings and things of that nature, and, Manziel is being rated higher than Joe Montana in a certain aspect, and Tim Tebow was better than Randall Cunningham in a certain aspect. And this is the part of Mutt that I wanted to talk about tonight. This is my thing. My only argument back to this guy was, you mean to tell me we're arguing about a fantasy mode? A fantasy mode. That's why it's right. Mutt. That's why it's fantasy, because anything goes. If you know anything about Mutt, there's cards coming out every day almost. What about the Vic card, that 99 Vic? Was he not better than Joe Montana in that particular instance? Or any other quarterback? It's a fantasy. And we're arguing about why simulation and stuff. Come on, man. And let me be honest real quick before I pass it to Smitty. I got caught up in that before. Y'all remember when I did that video about my team? When I was like, wait a minute, James Harden went 18 for 20 from the three. And I was pissed about that. But then people had to, pull my coat on it. They was like, yo, man, that is my team. And what's different about my opinion, I was like, okay, but I still want basketball respected. At least let him get tired. I wasn't beefing about his rating because it's a fantasy league. Like, what are we talking about here? And I just had to say that. And last thing before I throw it to Smitty, you got these guys that can't stand us, but they always dare to see what we say. So then you're going to tweet me saying, watch the Madden fanboys try to, damage control. Damage control, bro? Are you serious? Are y'all really out there? Y'all really out there arguing about why simulation aspects are not showing up in a arcadey fantasy mode of a game? You missing me with that. I just thought I had to say that, but definitely, Smitty, man, if you got anything to add, I don't think we're going to get to the money aspect and all that about Mutt, but please elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, I'll just say this real quick. One thing I had told him, I was like, to expand, because I just don't look at Madden alone. I look at every game, and I'm like, the same thing goes on. All this you're complaining about fundamentals and X's and O's and Madden and not happening in Ultimate Team. The exact same thing happens in my team, and Putt, and Diamond Dynasty and all that, right? And he's like, well, I don't pay attention to all those. I'm like, okay. Well, that's a problem right there. Like, that answers a lot right there. See, you got to pay attention to everything. You just can't look at what you want. You got to look at it all. Why would I put a huge investment in fundamental football in a game mode where you can have a card where Calvin Johnson plays free safety? Why would I be worried about this? You know what I'm saying? And like you just brought up Vic, there are at least 3 or 4 different editions of Johnny Manziel. You see what I'm saying? You have his base card, which he's a 71 overall, and then you have these other ones where these other editions where he's rated 90 plus. You even have one where he's rated at wide receiver because 1 week during the season he caught a touchdown pass. So now all of a sudden they do a card. Like, that's the whole point. Ultimate Team is gimmicky. That's why that's why there's so much attention to detail. That's why that mode can be so switched up. Now, I'll just say this part real quick and I'm going to throw it to AZ. And think about this for next week. How are you going to dynamically augment and adjust CFM? Because if you're gonna if we're sitting up here saying it needs the same treatment as Mutt gets weekly updates with cards and stuff. So what's gonna happen weekly in CFM without us having to restart the whole mode over again? What's gonna happen? And like I said, I would love to hear people's thoughts. I mean, we could definitely expand on it next week, but I would love to hear people give ideas, because all I see complaints registered, but I'm not hearing anything else outside of that. Like, what do the people have to say? What should happen? Instead of just saying, well, it needs the attention Mutt gets. Okay, but what else? Because as a community, we got to do more than complain. Well, okay, supply and demand. We want it. We're demanding, but what are we demanding? We're just saying it needs attention. But what attention do we want? What do you want to happen? That's going to be on the level of dynamic that Mutt gets. That's all I'm saying. So we'll touch on it next week, but I'm going to throw it to Azura. He could give his point.
And that's true. Real quick, AZ, let me say this real quick, and I'll throw it to you. That is true for what Smitty said. We're going to talk about this next week, because I'm a little ticked off by the community as a whole. We don't get a whole lot of feedback, man. That's crazy. We don't. And I don't understand that. We do not get a lot of feedback to take in there. But we're supposed to be this big community. You got guys in there now, and you won't utilize that. That's a little crazy to me. But, yeah, go ahead, AZ. Wrap us up, man.
Money modes are trash. Don't play them, port them. And maybe then we can switch the tide back. I know I'm preaching to the choir, and it's falling on deaf ears, because people go out and spend $65 on the game, then spend $1,000 on imaginary cars that disappear the next year. It's trash. Play it freely, or don't play it at all. And that's the wrap-up. Drop the mic. Trip over the laptop. Like that.
Yeah, man.
Trash.
It's crazy.
Asking for retweets and everything. See, this is what I'm saying. If people pay attention, look at NBA 2K. Asking for retweets on pink Kobe pulls. Oh, I got that Onyx Drummond. Yo, can I get a retweet? Like, see what I'm saying? Like, this is what's going on. This is not a EA Sports exclusive. This happens with all these games. So be mad, but it happens everywhere.
It's trash. Don't buy it. Don't support it. Play it freely and don't play it.
But you know something, guys? For all the energy that goes into all these tweets and these videos and these points made, all you have to do is not play it. When you scrolling through the menu, don't go to my team. Don't go to Ultimate Team. I got FIFA. I don't touch Ultimate Team. I got NHL. I don't touch it. Don't play it. It's as simple as that. But I can't wait for next week's show, because there's some things we need to discuss from as a community whole standpoint that I'm disappointed with, that hasn't been done a lot more of over the years. And I definitely can't wait till we talk next week, because there are some things to discuss that really need to change in this community as a whole. So I definitely look forward to that.
And you know what's funny in terms of Ultimate Teams? The only one I miss playing, man, is NCAA, because I used to love to get my nut off, man.
See this guy go.
Nah, man, you know we gotta make it funny, man. Come on, man. We gotta make it funny.
You're gonna make me put the sound effects back on here.
Right, oh boy,
I love
got to end the show with a good laugh.
Right.
But it's funny though, because that's gonna miss a whole lot of people. I already know it. The real ones, they caught it, but it's gonna go over a lot of heads. It's all good, like everything else do. Yeah, next week that's definitely gonna be a topic. Come on, man, the community. We gotta do better. And I'm telling you, you got people who can hand deliver. Now, don't get it twisted. Real quick, there's people who send us feedback, but we don't get enough. A lot of people can't even tell us what they want, and that's crazy. But down to 8 seconds, we're gonna sign off for the night, and I'm gonna do better and try to get this one up on YouTube by tomorrow. Apologize for the lateness, guys, but we appreciate it. It's a great show. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
Don't support my team, Diamond Dynasty. Stop playing in trash.
Get a nut.
Play freely or don't play at all.
Thank you for tuning in. And if you want to interact with me live, come on by Sim Standard Radio every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, along with Smitty and Azure Effect. If you want to give us a call, you can reach us at 914-338-0794. Of course, for more content, go ahead and click the link above. All right? Until next time, lights out.